Welcome back for a special episode of the Bald Brad Show where the news is breaking, and I'm sure y'all heard of it. Donald Trump has in fact initiated a strike on Iran. It has happened, and we're going to see what happens here in terms of escalation, how things unfold. Donald Trump will address the nation within the next hour. I mean, kind of whenever he chooses. So I'm glad that you all are joining me here on this news that I did not expect to happen. Let me just tell you, I did not expect this to take place. A lot of people said that they didn't want Trump to do this. But man, Trump is allegedly going to address the nation in an hour or so. We don't know. At 10 o'clock, maybe. We will see. That's the rumor mill. But I'm also hearing on Fox, mind you, I do have Fox streaming live right here.
Of those MOP 30,000-pound bombs through the ventilation shaft.
He should be live addressing the nation Eastern time. So we'll see. We're going live for it. We're going to be here for a while. So whenever that breaks, we'll be watching together. We've been here for the last 4 years watching anything and everything together. We were streaming live when he was had an assassination attempt on his life. We were actually one of the few streamers that were doing it live. So appreciate everybody joining me here. We will be streaming Donald Trump's address whenever he decides to go live. That could be 5 minutes from now. That could be an hour from now. But we will see and keep you updated here. But I'm glad you're joining me. So let's kind of see and unravel what the heck is really going on here. There was rumors that, I guess they're more than rumors. It happened that there was B-2 bombers that were leaving and refueling, which we covered on TikTok. And again, I encourage you to go see those TikToks that some people said it was fake, it wasn't real. And a lot of people right now, there's speculation. A lot of people believe that some of these bombers deviated and went the other direction. So we're going to see if that was true. When we'll be able to see the actual footage and picture of what America bombed. We'll see, my friend. I will have it up and ready to go when we do. These are, not the footage themselves, but we'll see. I mean, those are some big boys. They were showing some test footage of what these bombs looked like. And let me tell you, it's a big boom boom. It makes a big boom. So here you have it. Let's actually go down just a little bit. And let's see how far we can go. Okay, so here was like the news hours ago. B-2 bombers reportedly move as Trump mulls Iran strike. So these stealth bombers appear to be heading to a Air Force base in Guam. Well, it looks like not all of them made it. It looks like some of them might have deviated for a big strike. I just want to call out here, a lot of you are following me on TikTok. I pointed out that intelligence was saying that some of these bombers, based on their fueling patterns, had these bunker busters on them. So once again, we got it right. And I keep getting a lot of flack on this stuff. It's remarkable how many people are trying to whack me upside the head. I was right again before something happened. I was right once again. Hell, 22 hours before Israel started bombing Iran, guess who was right? Guess who called it 22 hours before it happened? This guy right here. I hate to give the pat on the back, but nobody else is giving it to me. Oh, you're crazy. You're a warmonger. You're a fearmonger. You're trying to make people upset. Israel's not going to do anything. 22 hours before I called it. It's still uploaded. So if you don't believe me, go check it out. Called this. Hey, there's some B-2 bombers leaving and heading to Guam. Some of them are carrying payloads. It looks like the weight of bunker busters. Really weird. Oh, you're a fearmonger. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just a crazy extreme right-wing guy. Once again, who was right beforehand? This guy. Thank you. People are calling the chat. You called it, Brad. Appreciate that. And that's why you guys join this show. How many times do I gotta be right, baby? Now, it's not something I want to be right about, by the way. Now, the part I was wrong, and I'm always fine with saying that where I'm wrong, I didn't think Trump would do this. I didn't think Trump would go and do this. The route that I thought would have happened was there was rumors, reports last week that Israel did have a plan. Like they did have a contingency in place to take these nuclear facilities out. Now, what that looked like, nobody said. Nobody knows what that would look like. So it doesn't even matter going over it because we don't know. It was just that was the rumor mill that, hey, if Americans aren't going to do it, there was some sort of plan by the Israelis that they'd be able to do this themselves. So again, Donald Trump will be addressing a nation. We will be streaming it live when he does. I'm just waiting for it. And, bear with me. We'll go over everything we can with all of you. Appreciate everybody joining me here. Got a lot of new followers. But the more you guys spam that heart button over at TikTok and hit that like button everywhere else, the bigger this is going to blow up. We get a lot of people here rather than getting their news necessarily from all these sites and these like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, all these places. We're just bringing you what we know. So here's Trump's Truth Social. We have completed a very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. All planes are now outside of Iranian airspace, which is good. I wonder if Iran even knew these guys were around. I mean, they're stealth. I mean, they fly under radar. So we'll find out here as more information comes out over the next 24 hours, 48 hours. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordo, meaning, remember, these bunker busters can really only go 200 into the ground. So we don't know how deep truly Fordo is. It could be 300 down. So dropping 3 of these bad boys probably would have done the job. All planes are safely on their way home. Thank God that no U.S. troops were harmed. Thank you, God. Congratulations to our great American warriors. You're damn right, Mr. President. This is not another military. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Facts, because we are the most badass people in the world. Whether you like this or not, that's not the part of it. Our military is badass. Just want to remind everybody, again, Iraq, the 3rd largest military in the world during the Gulf War, we wiped them out in 100 hours. 100 hours, the 3rd largest military. Gone. Iran, let's bring up Iran because they're in this too. 8 hours. We wiped out Iran, previously their navy. We made it unable to operate in 8 hours, a work shift. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Look, I hate to say it again. I didn't want Trump to do this. I want to be clear. I did not want Trump to do this, but you got to give it to the guy. I mean, how many warnings does he got to give you? The dude's been saying it for a decade, bro. A decade that he didn't want. You can't have nuclear weapons. For a decade, he said that. I'm not going to let you have effing nuclear weapons. For a decade. So nobody in the chat be surprised that, oh my God, how could he do this? What a curveball. This really came out of nowhere. When was he talking about doing something like this? For a decade. See, we just have a culture here in the United States that when something actually happens, our minds are freaking blown. Like we're, oh my God, there's consequences to this. No, duh. No, duh. This is what always happens. But everybody's complete, their minds are blown. The left have their hair so tied up, wound so tight, that they can't fathom this happening. I didn't want it to happen, but it did. Nothing we can do about it now. Guess see what happens. Lawmakers in the House and Senate are beginning to respond on X about this. Oh, here we go. It's unconstitutional. It's terrible. Here we go. Well, Senator Lindsey Graham, before I even read it, I know Lindsey's going to love this. Oh, I know Lindsey is salivating over this. Good. This was the right call. The regime deserve it. Well done, Mr. President. To my fellow citizens, we have the best Air Force in the world. It makes me proud. Fly, fight, win. It's true on the military aspect, but everybody knows Lindsey Graham loves this stuff. Lindsey Graham salivates. Now, Thomas Massey says this is not constitutional. What isn't constitutional? I'm not so sure this is or isn't. I mean, he has the right to go do something. So, we'll see what happens. But every president that I've seen in my lifetime has done something like this. Barack Obama actually bombed U.S. citizens. Go look that one up. Nothing happened. Yeah, go look that one up on Google. We're all here. We're all on the internet. Barack Obama dropped a bomb on U.S. citizens. Go look that one up. Everyone's like, there's no way. There's no way he would do something like that. It's Barack Obama. I love the guy. Well, Barack Obama also gave the Iranians $1.7 billion in cold hard cash. I wonder where that went. Maybe it went to help building Fordo. How about Joey giving $10 billion to the Iranians in humanitarian aid, which is fungible money? You got John here. Oh, good old John from Texas. President Trump made the courageous and correct decision to eliminate the Iranian nuclear threat. God bless the USA. Thank you to our extraordinary military and our, indomitable? Oh, President of the United States. This was the leadership of the world stage looks like. Fetterman's out here. Oh, John. Oh, John. He's come around, hasn't he? I mean, the dude was drooling out of a drip tray for a while, but he's back. He's back. As I've long maintained, this was the correct move by the President of the United States. Iran is the world's leading sponsor of terrorism and cannot have nuclear capabilities. I'm grateful for and salute the finest military in the world. So the president will make an address to the nation at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so in about 45 minutes. Again,
Statement.
we'll be live streaming that for sure. Let's go to the chat, though, because we got a lot of people watching over at Rumble, YouTube, X, Kick, TikTok. What do you guys make of this? What do you think of this? Some people are saying U.S. citizens carry not worried, which is true. But yeah, I completely agree with 100%, but it's just wrong time in the times we're in now. We probably wouldn't need a draft. We have enough. I don't think we're going to go to a full-blown war. Again, you guys, that's why I use that stat on Iran. We wiped out their Navy, folks, in 8. I'm being sincere. 8 hours, we wiped out their Navy. They got nothing, folks. Iran has nothing. Now, the problem is, here's the scary part. They do have sleeper cells. There was a report, take it with a grain of salt. There was a report that Al-Qaeda came out and said, look, we have sleeper cells in the United States, and we're activating all of them. So there's that, too. And you want to know who you would blame for that? I'll tell you who. Joey. Sleepy Joe allowed all these people. So if something happens, I don't want to hear a damn thing from Democrats going, well, how could this happen? How could any of this happen? How could there be a terrorist in the United States? This is unbelievable. This is Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. I don't want to hear any of that crap. We said it would happen. It might happen. God forbid it ever does happen. I'm not calling for it. I don't want that to happen. So wild stuff happening right now. So at least I'm trying to get the images on the screen. Let me see if, yeah. So we can at least see something here for everybody. Let me pull that out just a little bit so those on TikTok can kind of see. Let me drag that over slightly. Let's just keep that on the screen just for a bit for those on TikTok and everybody else, and we'll kind of talk about what's going on here. Again, it's good to see everybody joining me. We got a lot of people. As we always do, it's nothing new, but if you could spam that heart button, there's almost a couple hundred of you over at TikTok. If you spam the heart button, we'd greatly appreciate it. Let's go over to X just for a little bit here and kind of see. I mean, I would imagine it's trending. So U.S. uses 3 bombs here. Again, if you're just joining us, we have completed a very successful attack on 3 nuclear sites here. You have everybody just kind of post here. Hassan, United States has officially bombed Iran's 3 nuclear, terrifying escalation. I don't know if it's that terrifying yet. It will get terrifying for me when I start seeing kind of what unfolds. There's a lot of variables that go into this. You know, for all we know, Iran's not going to do anything and they actually might come to the table. But look, I mean, the dude gave him, how many times do you think Donald Trump gave the Iranians an opportunity to come to the table before he did anything? By the way, minimum 60 days. I would say he gave him a decade, but that, you know, let's not even use the decade. The dude's been talking on social media for a decade about it. He gave them 2 months, 60 days to say, hey, you know what? We're not going to make nukes. How about that? We're not going to enrich uranium anymore. That's all you needed to say. So I just want to be clear here. What changes for Iran then in this whole negotiation? What changes for them? If they weren't ever building a nuke, if they were never enriching uranium to build a nuke, I don't care how you phrase it. What would have changed for them then? Because that's their words. We aren't enriching uranium to make a nuclear warhead. Okay, let's take it as truth. What then would have been the problem to dismantle your uranium enrichment program from going with no nukes to no nukes? Nothing would have changed for them. Nothing. It's the easiest deal. It's a layup. It's a layup of a deal. You went from not having nukes to not having nukes. Nothing changes in your life. Come on. We all know what they were doing. Let's not be stupid. Come on. Let's not be silly here, guys. We know what they were doing. We know what they were in the process of. They're the leading sponsor of terror, folks, across the country, across the world, not just their country, but the world. Come on. And Joey gave them $10 billion and Barack Obama gave them $1.7 billion. You can't even fathom what $1.7 billion looks like. That's how insane it is. It truly is. Let's listen to a little bit of this, see what's going on.
Will come down on you at
Sean Hannity actually talked to, I know people aren't super fans of Fox, but the reason I want to show you Sean actually just got off the phone with the president after this all took place.
Yesterday, they refused to negotiate. They refused to move an inch from their nuclear program. Take a look.
Here we go.
We are not seeking negotiations. It is the Americans who want talks. They've sent messages several times, very serious ones, but we made it explicitly clear to them that as long as this aggression and invasion continues, there is absolutely no room for talk or diplomacy. We are engaged in legitimate self-defense, and this defense will not stop under any circumstances. We have nothing to discuss with the United States, which is a partner in these crimes.
Well, in a monologue earlier this week, I addressed the Ayatollahs, I addressed the Supreme Leader, I addressed the people of Iran directly, and I'll say the same thing again tonight. When President Trump says something, you better pay very close attention.
Yeah, I would say so.
He means what he says. He will always put America and Americans' interests first.
Here's the thing. This is something we talked about early on when Donald Trump was, let me make sure this is working correctly. When Donald Trump was elected, he was doing a lot of wish-washy stuff, very kind of similar to Joey. And I said, you can't be making bluffs here, is because at some point people are going to try to call you on that. This is what we have here, a Donald Trump, a president who is saying, look, I ain't bluffing. If I say I will give you time. I will give you an opportunity to negotiate. But if you want to F around and find out, the find out will always be there. And here he is. And all I could say is, whether you like this happening or not, you don't mess with Trump, man. Trump ain't effing around. And look, the Iranians tried to pull this before, right? They tried to do this before. When we took out Soleimani, they tried to come back. And Trump was like, no. I want it to be proportional. I don't want to escalate this too far. So here's the hope that there was nobody inside any of these bunkers, these facilities. I would imagine that they would have hopefully fled the thing, so nobody passed. I mean, that would be the best case scenario, I suppose. That would be at the end of this thing, where their nuclear sites are done. No lives were lost in these United States bombings, and the hope is that everybody's fine. I mean, that would be the goal, right? I mean, I don't want to see people pass. That's terrible. But here we go. The B-2 is the only craft capable of carrying the bunker busters, which we already know at this point, built approximately 300 feet underground. So now we're saying it's 300 feet. Before it was 200. Now it's 300. Nobody really knows. Just a question. If for all those that are like anti-Israel or pro-Iran or whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. Just a question for all the chats out there. If you're not in the process of building a nuclear warhead, why build a nuclear facility 300 feet underground? Can somebody answer that for me in there? Because I know there's a lot of people that are anti-Trump, never Trumpers or whatever. Can you explain to me why you would do that? If it's just for electricity or whatever they're going to use it for, why would you build a nuclear facility 300 feet underground? Why would you not build it above ground like Iraq did? Just a question. It's just for energy or whatever they're going to use it for. I don't know. It's not for nuclear warheads. Of course it isn't. So why would you do it 300 feet below ground? Like, why would you spend that kind of money and that kind of manpower? We could barely build a bridge in the United States. Like, it takes us years to build a proper road in the state of California. So you explain to me, like, why a country in the middle of the desert where there's sand, why would you build it 300 feet below the earth? Because they knew the U.S. was the only one who could do something about it. Do something about what, though? I mean, they're not doing anything wrong. What do you mean? They're just out there. Come on. Do something about what? What? They're not doing anything wrong. There's no big deal here. They weren't building a nuke. As to why they couldn't just be like, okay, that's fine. We're not going to do anything about this. No, I'm not getting any answers. It's crazy. Yeah, see, it's a good question. It's a very good question. So you think this is a good thing? I think it needed to happen, not necessarily by the United States. I think it's a good thing that Iran does not have nuclear capability. Absolutely. The world is much safer. The leading sponsor of terrorism isn't given an opportunity to hurt anybody. Absolutely. And some people say, well, Pakistan has a nuke. Israel has a nuke. There's a difference between having one already and not having one. I would like to keep somebody from not having one. If we could have kept Pakistan from not having one, that would have been nice too. I don't exactly trust them either, but they already have one. By the way, if Russia didn't have any nuclear warheads, that whole confrontation would have been done a long time ago. It would have. But because they're a superpower in the sense of nuclear weapons, it's a little bit tough to work with Russia, isn't it? A little bit tough. It's not going to be tough to work with the Iranians on trying to stabilize everything because they don't have a nuclear weapon. Force matters. Force matters on everything. You're right. There's a force doctrine that Andrew Wilson talks about a lot from the Crucible. We love Andrew here from the Crucible. If you're from the Crucible, anybody that watches him, shout out to all of you. But he talks about a force doctrine. Your rights, everything that's given is based on force. So we utilized force for Iran not to have a nuclear facility in Fordow. And guess what? Life will not change for them, because if they weren't building a nuclear warhead or developing one, however you want to phrase it, doesn't matter, anything to do with nuclear, then nothing changed for them. Life goes on. Life goes on. We blew up a facility in the middle of a desert, and just a parking lot now. Underground, mind you. So, I mean, nobody saw it in the first place. If anything, wildlife can come back. Look at that. For all you environmentalists, wildlife can come back and take over the area again. So the environmentalists should just be happy over it. I'm being satirical, of course. Calm down. People are losing their crap in the chat. I just know it. So NYPD on heightened alert after U.S. attacks in Iran. Why would they be on heightened alert? Why would they be on heightened alert? Why would the police department in New York City, a local police department, be on high alert of something that happened thousands of miles away? Why would that happen? Well, let's just find out here. Could it possibly be that there's maybe terrorists in the country because Joey and the Democrats allowed it to happen? Maybe. The New York City Police Department said it was deploying more resources across the Big Apple, especially to religious, cultural, and diplomatic sites after the United States attacked 3 Iranian nuclear facilities. Why would you do that? Huh. Guys, come on, in the chat, stop it. Because of sleeper cells? There are no sleeper cells here. I was told there wasn't any. Well, who said that? Oh, sure. Anthony, Jake Sullivan, John Kirby, Karine Jean-Pierre, Jen Psaki, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, Chuck Schumer. Should I keep going down the list? Adam Schiff, any Democrat out there. There you go. I named 9 off the top of my head without even doing any research. Give me a break. Give me a break. Let me see, make sure we're not doing this. Let's check this out really quick. What are we missing?
Especially that region is breathing a sigh of relief tonight, because nobody wanted Iranian hegemony. What Donald Trump...
Okay, so nothing there. Let's go back to the live update. So earlier this week, the Trump administration reportedly ramped up efforts, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. New York is saying, we're tracking the situation unfolding in Iran. Out of an abundance of caution, we're deploying additional resources to religious, cultural, and diplomatic sites. Could it be that there's illegal immigrants here that might want to harm us? I know there's good illegal immigrants here. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the bad ones. But Democrats aren't able to separate the two. It's a crazy thing. I mean, just separate good and bad, bad and good, good and evil, evil and bad. You see how that works? See how it's not muddied? Just bad. You shouldn't hurt people. It's not a good thing. U.S. dropped 6 bunker busters. Whoa! On Fordow. Wow. President Trump tells Sean Hannity that 6 bunker busters, 30-pound bunker buster bombs were dropped on Fordow, and 30 Tomahawk missiles were fired by U.S. submarines at the other 2 sites. Whoa. Destroying all 3 nuclear facilities. Man, folks, let me actually see if I can get you the footage of the bunker busters, what that looks like. Because they are some serious, serious firepower. Let me see if I can find the footage for you. I'm looking for a very specific type of footage.
Utilized by a fuse.
It's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, here. This is what I want. Okay. Here you go. So this is what it looks like, folks. Can everybody see that? Let me make sure I get it up on okay, everybody has it. So we can go like this. Boom. Kind of slide that over just a little bit. All right, here we go. So this is what it looks like dropping from a B2. This 30-pound, this is what was just dropped, and this is what it would have looked like. Now, we don't have the footage, but this is what it would have looked like being dropped on them. It looks like a still image, but this is being flown. I promise you this is video. Watch the penetration of this. Here we go. It's in slow motion for you all. Now you can salivate. Again, this is not the footage that was dropped on them. This is testing footage. But boy, oh boy. Wait till it shows the explosion. This thing packs a punch, man. Just really like some... Here we go. Look at this. Into the earth. Goes 200 feet. It can go 200 feet into the earth. And needless to say, it's going to make a big boom boom. Look at that. Holy boy. Boom. And it looks so tiny, right? It's like, oh, wow, it's not that big of an explosion. No, it's a big one. It's a big one. So bonkers, man. Again, if you're over at TikTok, hit that like button. We will be streaming Donald Trump live here for his address. Right now, we're covering the news, going over some video on what all of this stuff looks like, how the stuff gets dropped. But if all of you hit that and spam that heart button, go crazy, more people can join us here. And we'd really love for more people to join us so all of us could take part in this breaking news here. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it happened. You can't change what happened in the past. We can only move forward and hope that peace is initiated here. I'm a Trump supporter. I want peace to happen. I don't want anybody to be harmed. I don't want anybody to be hurt. I can only be so clear here. And the people, oh, you're a liar. You're a warmonger. No, I'm not. You could say whatever you want, but I know what I am, which is why it doesn't faze me. You can say a bunch of nonsense in the chat all you want, but I can't pull your head out of your, you know what? I can't do it. So here's what this looks like. How massive ordnance penetrator mop works. You drop the bomb goes in ground, go to the bunker, kaboom, everything's done. You fly home and you have a nice meal when you get back. And by the way, praise God that our troops came back okay. Praise God. My hat's crooked. I tell you, every time, I've said this in the past, every time I talk about a Democrat, I don't know what it is. When I say Democrats, my hat starts turning like this. And then I start talking like this. And my face gets droopy like Nancy Pelosi. And then I look like I'm made of wax and I'm melting at a climate protest. Get triggered, lefties. All right, back to the news. I'm sorry. I had to do it. I look, it's like, when you mess with your sister and you piss her off all the time and you just antagonize her and she just gets triggered so easily. That's how it is with the left. And I eat it up. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be doing it, but it's too much fun. It really is too much fun. So here's some news as well. So this kind of ties in with what we're doing. I'm scared of their supporters in our country, as you should be. But thanks, Joey, for that. And thank the Democrats. You know what? If you didn't ever have open borders, if you didn't have illegal immigrants here, and I'm not saying all bad. Again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying they're all bad, but you don't know who these people are. You wouldn't be fearful at all. If everybody was pro-America, if everybody shared in our culture and our values, none of you would be writing, I'm so scared right now for what's going to happen domestically. You wouldn't need where is it? You wouldn't need New York City Police Department on high alert because everybody loves America because, we assessed who they were before they came in. Did they want to assimilate? Do they love our value system? Do they love our country? Did we teach them love of country in school system? Or did we teach them socialism is good, communism is that bad, capitalism sucks, America's terrible, had a bunch of slaves, did this massacre, did that massacre in World War I, World War II, Vietnam, the Gulf War? Or did we teach them that stuff that our country's so terrible? See, you wouldn't have to worry about all this stuff, but people want to push that. People want to promote that crap. I love this country. America is the greatest country on earth. See the Bald Brad Show mug? You see that mug right there? You could buy one on my website, baldbrad.com. But look what's on the back. I got to be careful because it's filled up. That's called the American flag, baby. Got that thing everywhere. Other than tattooed on my body. Maybe that should be my first tattoo. So here you go. Khamenei's has drafted a short list of successors in case Israel targets him next. Well, I guess not just Israel, but maybe Trump at this point. The Khamenei has reportedly drafted a short list of potential successors as a contingency in case Israel targets him next. I'd like to point out that you putting forth successors doesn't really mean anything because you also did the same thing for your military officials, and some of them only lasted this last week like 24 hours. So I'd like to point that out, that just because you have a successor with the Israelis, United States military, doesn't really mean all that much. Those guys were gone pretty quick. And I'll tell you what, if you're somebody in Iran that wants to be like a nuclear scientist and take upon that role, probably not a good idea right now. Probably not for a while. You're not going to be around too long. That job has a very short shelf life, let me just say. Supreme Leader spent much of his last couple of weeks, actually, let me slide this over here. Last couple of weeks in hiding as Israeli forces systematically targeted nuclear research facilities. He thinks he's hiding. There's a lot of people that thought they were hiding. Osama bin Laden, right? Saddam Hussein thought he was hiding. Soleimani thought he was hiding. There's a lot of people think they were hiding. We know where you are. Come on. Come on. You think we don't know where you are? Come on, buddy. Come on. You think you can hide that head? You think you can hide from public? Look at the size of that thing. Come on. Barely fit through a doorway. We know where you are. You can see that thing from space. Elon Musk, when he goes to Mars, will be able to see that. I know where he is. I'm sorry. It's a joke. Calm down. Calm down, okay? Freaking out over a joke, you lefties. Jeez. Simmer it down a little bit, huh? List of successors. Yeah, next on the hit list. Electric Lemon has it right over there at Rumble. Appreciate you. By the way, everybody smash that thumbs up button if you can. We got a lot of people watching, and like there's not as many people hitting that like button that should be. If you're over at TikTok, we all have fingies. Just spam that heart button. More people will join us. We had a couple hundred people. We had almost 400 people watching on TikTok. And look, TikTok's going to try to suppress this live because it goes against the narrative. People are freaking out. Let's listen live here just for a little bit. Here's Mark Levin probably freaking out.
Donald Trump is a man of peace, but he's not stupid. He doesn't put his head in the ground like some of the people were urging him to do. I knew it. These forever wars are murder.
I knew it.
He just destroyed them.
Hey, Mark.
A forever war, and the Israelis still have to fight it. Yes, sir.
I want to ask you this because you said something. The president wants peace. The president's been trying to negotiate peace in Europe. He's been trying to negotiate peace in the Middle East. He and Steve Witkoff, his Mideast envoy, they have bent over backwards, pretty much begging them to do the deal. They wouldn't be nuclear, but there would be other opportunities for them to join the free world if they so wanted it. They chose otherwise with the rejection of the president's offer to negotiate even yesterday with their foreign minister. So he has tried that. But you brought up the history, and I think we need to remind people it was Barack Obama and Joe Biden. Remember, they sent the cargo planes, billions of dollars, cash and other currency in this total. They were adapting the policies of appeasement. How did that work out? Well, the Iranians built up their military. They built up their nuclear program, and they had the money and to buy the munitions to foment terror throughout the entire region. And that means they were funding Hamas and Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad. And
all right, some of you are like, oh, well, it's Fox News. I don't want to watch that. Okay, let's see what these guys are saying then.
Well, Jose, he is clearly feeling emboldened. He called these strikes a great success, a complete and total success. He then said he had to get off of the phone, he said, because he has to make a speech about it, which, of course, we are anticipating at the top of the hour. I did try to ask him some of those questions that you were just discussing with Vaughn, but again, it was clear that was the message that he wanted to take out and to get out, and that he was not going to answer questions in this moment. So we will have to wait and see what he has to say at 10 p.m. But again, I do think it's important to stress what Vaughn was just talking about, which is that this decision came after the Trump administration had for some time tried to strike a diplomatic deal with Iran to get rid of its nuclear weapons program. And then President Trump saying he was going to give Iran another 2 weeks before making that final decision. And ultimately, it's clear the administration must have come to the conclusion that that diplomacy was running into wall after wall, was not yielding the results that they were hoping for. And of course, it's also worth noting that President Trump ripped up the Iran nuclear deal that had been struck under former President Obama. Mr. Trump arguing it didn't go far enough. Obama officials arguing that was the very thing that stood in the way of Iran being able to develop a nuclear weapon. So that's some of the context to this.
Oh, you know, I want to go. Here we go. I want to go to this. I actually want to see what he has to say.
So that would be potentially a very risky thing. Now, remember, though, and this is a very important component. When Donald Trump took out Soleimani in 2020, Iran did try to kill American troops. It was not just performative. In fact, I was talking to a high-level guy in the U.S. government last night, and he says, Charlie, you might not remember, when we took out Soleimani, as soon as we took out Soleimani, all the bases are on high alert. So here's how this works. All the bases go on high alert. Right now, they have all the planes fully, literally, they have engines running. They have cars ready to go. You could tell when a ballistic missile is taking off, and because of our technology, we could tell within a couple of miles where that ballistic missile is going to go. So we have right now full radar capacity all over Iran. As soon as a ballistic missile starts going, because the ballistic missiles have to go up and they go down, right? They're different than javelins, right? Where they can kind of go a little bit more horizontal. These go up, they go down. As soon as we have a vague idea that there might be a ballistic missile launch, near Qatar, one of our bases, there you
go. See, Holden said it over at TikTok. Now, I don't like Trump, but he does make me feel safe.
One of our bases in Iraq in 2020.
I sleep like a baby with Trump in office.
They literally hit a tent that a lot of service members would be sleeping in. They hit their target, and they killed how many troops? 0, because our military was properly prepared. So the prayer right now is if Iran tries to go after
just want to give a shout out to William for the $5. Here we go. Now we wait and see. Thank you so much for the $5. Eric Birch, thank you for the $2. Hey, Patriot family, good to see you, brother. Hope you're feeling better.
Now, by the way, some of the troops got concussions, but they didn't die. And these bases are on the highest level alert. Now, there are Patriot defensive missile systems as well.
Do you think we get the 10K likes on TikTok? We got 200 people in here.
I just want to. We have an image up there that we got off Council of Foreign Relations. So this is U.S. military presence in the Middle East. Basically, as of right now, they keep this pretty regularly updated. Any of those red dots you can see are active U.S.-controlled bases. There's a bunch of them in Kuwait. We have, I think, 13,000 troops in Kuwait. That is 100. I bet at the closest, those bases are maybe 100 miles from Iran.
Correct,
blink of an
which
eye.
Is nothing.
A big legacy, obviously, from the Iraq War.
Okay, so allegedly, this is the footage of the bombing.
Afoot this morning when we woke.
Jennifer Griffin is live at the Pentagon. Let's bring Jennifer in. Jennifer, we're just getting word, obviously, with the president's announcement, what this looks like.
Well, Brett, we knew that there was something afoot this morning when we woke and heard that there were 6 B-2 bombers that had been seen leaving Whiteman Air Force Base last night at midnight. And so those planes, we were told, were heading towards Guam. Now, Guam would have been an 18-hour flight into Iran, so it is likely that it was a different set of B-2 bombers that were used to bomb the sites, the 3 sites that the president mentioned tonight on Truth Social. That is the Fordo complex, which we've been watching all week. That is the massive main, sort of what's known as the heart or the crown jewel of Iran's nuclear program. It's underneath that mountain just outside of Qom, which is 2 hours south of Tehran. That complex, we understand, has been bombed by those U.S. B-2 bombers tonight. Also, Isfahan, as well as Natanz. Natanz had another underground facility. Remember, before Fordo was built in 2006, Natanz had been the main enrichment site. It was also built underground. Israeli jets had been targeting it in the last week, but they had not been able to penetrate underground. So those U.S. B-2 bombers, which flew out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, they would have taken out that underground facility. Natanz is interesting. You'll remember, Brett, it was the site of the Stuxnet virus, the cyber attack on those centrifuges years ago. But again, it was back up and running. And what is surprising, I think, tonight is that the president announced that it was not 1 site, but 3 underground sites and sites inside Iran's nuclear program that were struck by the U.S. Air Force tonight.
I mean, there you have it. We'll go back to this for a little bit.
Repercussions, many times unthought of repercussions. And I'm thinking of from Lebanon, Syria recently, so many countries that have been affected, and then other countries have been affected through the repercussions of that. And Richard, what are the major players in the region you think seeing today? And I'm thinking of Saudi Arabia, UAE, and others that have had a very difficult relationship with Iran in the past, and I'm thinking specifically Saudi Arabia.
Well, the Gulf countries are generally supportive of this, even though they were supportive of the process. There was a long animosity between the Arabian Gulf countries, the Arab world, and Iran, the
mustache
Persian
is
world,
itchy.
the Sunni Arab world versus the Shia Persian world. That has been a bitter divide, and the Gulf states have so far tonight remained largely silent. The U.S. Military has bases in the Gulf, bases that would have undoubtedly been involved in this operation. So Iran is not going to get any state support from the Middle East.
All right, here we go. I want to go to Philip Wegman of Real Clear Politics because this is what you guys are going to be hearing. And this comes from what we were talking about from the live update here. I'm going to make a connection here for you. Where is it with the legislation? All right, here we go. So Thomas Massey says this is not constitutional. So I at least want to show you what Philip Wegman of Real Clear Politics, who is one of our main guys for the Ball Brad Show. We love Phil. We love Phil. So he's of Real Clear Politics. Asked if Trump would seek war authority from Congress before a potential strike on Iran. This was the other day. This was 3 days ago when he asked this question during the White House press briefing to Caroline Leavitt. Tip her hand and tells Real Clear Politics, I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals. Well, here's a quote. He used the legal authority afforded to him as commander-in-chief. A White House official tells Real Clear Politics when asked which authority, an example was 2002 AUMF, Trump invoked to Iran strike. So let me see if I can get a little bit more information on that for all of you here in real time. When I get that information, I'll present it to you. I'm going to be looking up right now.
Mission of taking out 3 important nuclear sites in Iran.
Yeah, well, so what this tells me when he says complete success is obviously we strike the 3 nuclear sites. And one of the things that's needed in order to determine whether it's complete success is what we...
All right, here we go. All right, so I want to get this on the screen here. There we go, live updates. That way it looks presentable as I break this down for all of you. Again, if you're over at TikTok, hit that heart button. If you're over at YouTube, thumbs up. We're going to be watching the live stream. In about 10 minutes, Donald Trump should be going live from the White House addressing the nation. The statement he used legal authority afforded him as commander-in-chief refers to President Donald Trump's decision to authorize a U.S. military strike on Iran, as reported by the White House official Real Clear Politics, or to Real Clear Politics. This explanation below describes his authority through the 2002 authorization of use of military force. And so the question is this constitutional authority as commander-in-chief, is that in play here? Well, the Constitution under Article 2, Section 2 states, exact quote, the president shall be commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy of the United States and of the militia of several states when called into actual service of the United States. This clause grants the president significant authority to direct military operations, particularly in matters of national defense and foreign policy. The White House officials' reference to this authority suggests that Trump relied on his inherent constitutional powers to order the strike on Iran rather than citing a specific congressional authorization like 2002 AUMF. Now, the scope of the articles of the powers themselves is there's a broad interpretation about all this. Presidents have historically interpreted their commander-in-chief powers expansively, especially in situations requiring rapid response to threats. This includes the ability to order military actions to protect U.S. interests, personnel, or allies without prior congressional approval, particularly if the action deemed defensive or limited in scope. Congress tends to act very slow, so there is that idea, and that's the way government was established and created, to work very slow, that it's not able to respond quickly enough to threats, and that's why there's this broad interpretation. There's also the defensive actions. The executive branch often argues that strikes to prevent imminent attacks or to protect national security fall within the president's Article 2 authority. For example, the Trump administration previously justified their 2020 drone strike on the Iranian General Soleimani as a defensive action to prevent imminent threats, citing Article 2 powers. Now, there are limitations to Article 2, but it does grant significant discretion. It is not unlimited. Legal scholars and Congress have argued that sustained military engagement or actions amounting to war in the constitutional sense require congressional authorization. Now, we're not war here. People keep saying, oh, we're at war. Not as of right now. By the way, we technically haven't been in a war since World War II. Okay, there hasn't been like a declaration of war. You know, the war on terror, the war on this. That's what the media pushes. That's not what's really taking place. So again, we're waiting for Donald Trump to come to the podium to address the White House. He should be live in about 9 minutes. I don't know if it's going to be in the Oval or somewhere else, but we'll be streaming it live for all of you here. And actually, I need to work on making sure I'm queued up here on a site that we're able actually to utilize. So why are they, the question here, I guess, is why would you cite the 2002 Article 2 instead of the, why would you cite that specific article? Well, the White House officials emphasize these articles of power because of just kind of what's been happening in historical context, I guess. So like, for example, like Bush used it, Obama used it, Biden used this. So that's what I always love to see and hear is these Biden supporters like, he can't do this, unconstitutional. But then you go and look at their social media pages and not a peep from them regarding Joe Biden using any of this stuff. So I'm trying to, by the way, not a peep from any of these people when Barack Obama used a, here we go. All right. White House is getting locked and loaded. Let me get this going for you guys. White House here. Bada bing, bada boom. White House is live. We're going to bring that up right here. Get rid of all of these. Boom, boom. Beep, boom, 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 boom. All right, we'll keep that up for you guys. Love that. All right, here we go. Buckle up. Our most recent TikTok is blowing up just like all the other ones. How long ago did I upload that video? And it's completely just blown up. Where are we at here on it? Let's take a little peeky. So we uploaded that video an hour ago and it has 65,000 views. So that will be a 100,000 view video. So appreciate everybody going over. If you can, if you're on the live, hey, what's going on? What's going on, Miguel? If you're on the live, can you head to that video that I posted about this and leave a comment? If you leave a comment and a heart, it helps create engagement. It'll boost that video even more and you'd be helping me out. So it'd be greatly appreciated if you can head over to my video right now and then come back. Head over to the video about United States striking Iran and support me on that. Sleeper cells? Yeah. Oh, they're here. So I can actually give you a name. All these people, oh, there's sleeper cells here. They're probably here. Sarah Adams, CIA terrorist target tracker. Her name's Sarah Adams. Sarah Adams. You can actually go to my Instagram, my X page, my Twitter page, and you can follow her yourself. And you can go down that rabbit hole. She tracks these people for a living, folks, and they're here. Did you know that the United States, under the Biden administration, allowed murderers into our country, and we actually know who they are? No, I kid you not. People think this is like, oh, that's conspiracy. There's no way he would do something like that. We actually know their license plate numbers. Not because they weren't convicted of murder here. They're convicted of murder in another country. Yeah, we're actually able to track them, and they are tracking them. The United States government. Why are they here? I don't know. You're actually supposed to send them back to their country because they committed a crime there and should be tried for, deleting somebody. But we can't do that because it's terrible. They deserve a good life, is what we're told by Democrats all the time. You guys are crazy. They're good people. What do you mean? They deleted somebody. They're good people. See, Donald Trump might delete somebody. Terrible guy. Illegal immigrants deleting people and hurting people. It's fine. That's how it works with the left. It's okay. Oh, here we go. We got William with another 5. Congress can declare war, but the president can make war. This does not mean war has to be declared first. Examples: Vietnam, Korea, Persian Gulf. Correct. That's what I'm referring to, William. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. We have Michelle here. Would it surprise me? They would have attacked eventually. That's why they are here. Yeah. So again, there was a report. Let me actually confirm this report while we're waiting for the president of the United States to come up. Let me make sure everything's here for y'all. So we know when he comes up, and I'll shut my mouth when he's on the podium. Somebody like, shut your mouth now. No, make me. All right. Look, we're on too many platforms to take us all down. So let me confirm that Al-Qaeda idea for you right now. So I want to confirm this report. Again, the report came from a source that I don't know if it's reliable or not. So I actually want to confirm this right now for you guys, see if it's reliable. But allegedly, Al-Qaeda said we're going to release all our sleeper cells all at the same time. Okay, so here you go. So this comes from Sarah Adams, who I already know this information, but I'll relay it to you. A January 2025 interview on the Sean Ryan Show with former CIA officer Sarah Adams, codenamed Superbad, warned of 1,000 Al-Qaeda fighters in the U.S. planning attacks, though this was speculative and not tied to a specific date like today. Additionally, June 11th, 2025 post on X mentioned Al-Qaeda calling for attacks in the U.S. So again, June 11th, rather, excuse me. So about 10 days ago, we're calling for attacks in the U.S., but it lacked specifics about timing or execution. So needless to say, I always mention this. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat. It doesn't matter if you're a lefty with your pigtails and you're trying to transition to something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're black or you're white, you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green Party. It doesn't matter. They don't like Western civilization. They hate you because you're an American. It doesn't. Get rid of the identity politics for a second. They don't give two about your identity. They don't give a two if you're transing right now or anything. They just want to hurt you and harm you. I don't want that to happen. I don't care what you are. I could care less. And by the way, a lot of conservatives, Republicans could care less about what you are and what you do. We just want you to leave the kids alone and stop creating shenanigans and stop lighting buildings on fire. That would be nice. Maybe stop breaking the law. That goes for Republicans too. It doesn't go for just one side tends to be a little more crazier than the other. But that's here nor there. I just love triggering the left. It's too much fun. Older reports like a 2005 FBI assessment have downplayed the presence of active al-Qaeda. Oh, well, I don't really believe in the FBI all the time, especially going back to 2005. The FBI kind of lied and worked in cahoots with the Russians for the Russia hoax. If you haven't seen that one, it's called Follow the Money. There's a book called Follow the Money with Dan Bongino. Let me know what you think about the FBI after that one. Would a sleeper cell attack affect a normal American citizen? Yeah. Yo, yeah. Big time. I mean, 9/11 kind of was sleeper cells, were they not? Lived here in America, trained here in America, flew American planes in the buildings. By the way, just before that, right, were sleeper cells as well. Taking vans in the bottom of the World Trade Center and blowing those bad boys up. Yeah, I would say it's a problem. And again, that's what, when there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life, there was intelligence that was reported, whether I don't know if it's true or not, that terrorists brought across the southern border surface-to-air missiles to try to take out Donald Trump's plane. And that's why Donald Trump was using a different plane for some of his rallies. Yeah, the Boston one as well. That could be one. I don't know if the Boston guy was a homegrown person, though. I don't know if he was considered like a sleeper cell. I don't know if he immigrated here. So I don't want to answer that one. Maybe you can figure that one out in the chat. I'm not familiar with who that guy was in the sense of homegrown, sleeper cell. When I think of sleeper cell, I think of somebody that came here and is living amongst us, not like a homegrown guy. So I'm not thinking of homegrown. There are homegrown people here, but how I'm referencing sleeper cell is somebody that came here from another country and came here for the purpose of terror. So that's how I'm referencing it. You might have a different definition of it, and that's totally fine. And I wouldn't discredit that definition. I'm just explaining what I meant in context about sleeper cell. Given the lack of verified, okay. So needless to say, look, it doesn't look like, and I'm utilizing multiple AIs to see if there's anything on the entire internet about it. So it seems like I don't know where that guy got that source from. Maybe it was the June 11th one that he was referencing and kind of, I don't want to say embellished it because I don't think that's the right thing to do. A lot of times when we make videos on social media, we do dramatize it a little bit to keep the viewer engaged, but it doesn't mean the context and the substance of the message is wrong. So, and I don't want this to happen. I can only be so, whenever you talk about the news, people are like, well, you want this to happen. Oh, you think this is great. This is not great. This is not a good thing. By the way, it's not a good thing for Iranians to develop a nuclear warhead. I don't trust them. They're the leading sponsor of terror. It'd be different if they weren't the leading sponsor of terror. It'd be different if they were an ally. It'd be different if, oh yeah, this is cool. How many of you are traveling to Iran on a weekly basis or yearly basis or every 10 years? How many of you plan a trip to Iran for a vacation? Just anybody. You and the kids and the wife, you know what I mean? Yeah, we've been waiting for this trip our entire life. Well, we're going to go to Iran. Yeah, I can't wait. The happiest place on earth. Come on. It's a little bit different. It's not like you're going to Australia. It's not like you're going to the United Kingdom to see Big Ben. It's not any of those things. Come on. So please. Last week for fun, bought my kid, went to a theme park. Well, there you go. Now, some people would like the thrill of theme parks to happen in Iran, like me. Abu Dhabi's getting one. They're getting a Disneyland over there. They have a SeaWorld. People go over there. Why does nobody want to vacation in Iran? That's weird. It's a good place. It's like the same people that, people vacation in Mexico all the time, but all these people chanting in Los Angeles, Viva la Mexico, and then there's They're like illegal immigrants getting arrested, and they're like, they don't want to go back to their home country. It's like, but you're waving the flag. Like, you love Mexico. If you love Mexico so much, and why don't you live there? Like, why don't you want to go back? That's like weird to me. You know what I mean? Like, that would be like me going to like any other country, waving the American flag, going, Viva la America. And then they're like, we're going to send you back. I'll be like, okay. Like, oh, you're sending me back to the best place on earth. There we go. There we go. Shush.
Thank you very much. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime: Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. Everybody heard those names for years as they built this horribly destructive enterprise. Our objective was the destruction of Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity and a stop to the nuclear threat posed by the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. Tonight, I can report to the world that the strikes were a spectacular military success. Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated. Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier. For 40 years, Iran has been saying death to America, death to Israel. They have been killing our people, blowing off their arms, blowing off their legs with roadside bombs. That was their specialty. We lost over 1,000 people, and hundreds of thousands throughout the Middle East and around the world have died as a direct result of their hate. In particular, so many were killed by their general, Qasem Soleimani. I decided a long time ago that I would not let this happen. It will not continue. I want to thank and congratulate Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu. We worked as a team like perhaps no team has ever worked before. And we've gone a long way to erasing this horrible threat to Israel. I want to thank the Israeli military for the wonderful job they've done. And most importantly, I want to congratulate the great American patriots who flew those magnificent machines tonight, and all of the United States military on an operation the likes of which the world has not seen in many, many decades. Hopefully, we will no longer need their services in this capacity. I hope that's so. I also want to congratulate the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Raisin-Kane, spectacular general, and all of the brilliant military minds involved in this attack. With all of that being said, this cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days.
Whoa.
Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes. There's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There has never been a military that could do what took place just a little while ago. Tomorrow, General Kane, Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth will have a press conference at 8 a.m. at the Pentagon. And I want to just thank everybody, and in particular, God. I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. What a message, dude. He basically said, if you don't want to have peace, we're going to fuck you up, is basically what he said. Dude, if you look, I don't care what you think about the whole situation. If you don't like Iran or Israel, it don't matter which one. When you hear the most powerful military that's ever existed in human existence come out and say that, I would take the peace. Yeah. Yep. Really quick. Yeah. There's no discussion. Yes, sir. What do you need? How high did you say jump? Okay. There's dude. Oh boy. Well,
I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off.
Our allies have taken.
We will see what happens. Let's try to go to somebody. Let's see the aftermath of what people are talking about here. I'm kind of curious to see. Let me go to this really quick. Here, let's go to
administration.
See what he's saying here.
But J.D. Vance is clearly an active vice president. He's young. President Trump is term limited out, so he's standing.
America, thank you.
All right, so we are
involved in this. The other reason it's significant is because, at least according to the reporting that's come out, the vice president has been somewhat skeptical of too much military engagement. And so he had a great explainer tweet out just a couple days ago on what's going on in Iran, in which he articulated the situation, I think, perfectly. Namely, it is the position of the United States that we're not going to allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon. And two, I'm really skeptical of endless wars in the Middle East. So we don't want to get bogged down in one of those either. And President Trump has shown that he can intervene, including in the Middle East, and not necessarily get bogged down. He showed that in the first administration when he dropped the Moab, for instance, or when he took out Qasem Soleimani, the top Iranian general. So he's shown that you can intervene with the United States military. We are the global hegemon. We do have alliances. We do have security commitments. We do have national objectives. You don't need to get bogged down there for 9 years as we did in Iraq, for instance, or 20 years as we did in Afghanistan. But the fact that that reporting is coming out about J.D. Vance means it is all the more significant that he's standing there next to the Secretary of State, who seems a little bit more hawkish. He's a little bit more with the classic of the last 25 years GOP foreign policy. And then Pete Hegseth, who also seems relatively hawkish. The other reason it's significant that those men were standing behind him is because any one of those men could be the successor in 2028. So President Trump famously has not picked a successor for 2028. Hate to bring up electoral politics when we're talking about war and peace, but it's on everyone's mind in Washington. It's on the minds of a lot of voters. And you know it's on the minds of all the men who are standing up there this evening. President Trump has said, no, I'm not going to look. JD's great, Marco's great, other people are great. So you've got three men here in three really crucial positions, all of whom could succeed Trump in just 3 years. Keeping them all on the team, all united. If there are ideological disagreements among the team, we're going to make sure we're going to bring them all together. Trump has done this from the beginning. This is, to the point we were talking about before the president spoke, this is what Trump is preternaturally gifted at, which is creating alliances, creating coalitions that did not exist before, bringing together opposites, bringing together on trade.
All right, we'll come back to Michael in a little bit. I do enjoy him, but I want to see what's going on here with Trey Yingst.
The launch of this Israeli operation against those nuclear sites and against top nuclear scientists inside of Iran. But tonight, the region has changed. The nuclear sites have been largely destroyed, according to President Trump. There still is a minor threat of ballistic missile fire, but we understand that tonight Israel remains on high alert. They are entering into a new state of emergency, changing the home front command guidelines for the civilian population here of more than 9 million people, trying to limit public gatherings tomorrow, canceling workplaces and schools, understanding that Iran may decide to respond. But again, the latest information, Sean, that we have here tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reacting to these American strikes that targeted Iranian nuclear facilities, Isfahan, Natanz, and Fordow. The places that the Iranians were enriching uranium, trying to get closer to weapons-grade material that they would then use in a nuclear bomb. President Trump announcing tonight from the White House those sites have been destroyed, and Iran no longer has the leverage that they had just 24 hours ago going into any future conversations with the Americans or the Europeans across the world.
That's a good point. That's a good point by Trey.
Yingst in Israel tonight. We'll get back to you. I want to go back to President Trump. He just made a statement. He addressed the nation a short time ago. The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime, Fordow, Natanz, and he went on to describe in great detail what happened. Everybody heard those names for years, and he also did mention Farhon, the third site that was hit, both Farhon.
Now, the thing to look out for, right? I think the thing that everybody's waiting on is the response from Iran. And look, I don't think anybody be surprised if they went after Israel over here, right? The question is we have bases in Iraq here. Now, we did allegedly move a lot of military out, like within the last 2 or 3 weeks here. Trump told everybody, get out of the embassies, get out of these sites, leave, which is why I had an indicator if something big was going to happen in the Middle East. You don't just move things around like that if something big wasn't going to happen. The question is what installations are they going to go at? And then the other question is what happens here domestically, because a lot of you are worried about these sleeper cells. And I'm going to mention this again. You should never have to worry about sleeper cells if you handled your immigration. All of you should be sleeping. You should be able to go out to a public event and not have to worry about a sleeper cell. Guess what? Not now. I don't want to be a fearmonger, but not now. I know my head's going to be on a 6. I'll be checking around. So, when you have Democrats in office, you don't sleep well. Well, when you got Trump in office, you're going to sleep real well. To tell you what, you pull something here domestically, you just woke up a bear out of hibernation, baby. You just woke up the greatest force ever if you pull any shit. And you know what? A lot of these Democrats, if we're attacked here on Homeland and you're going to go, oh, well, we fucking deserved it. It wouldn't surprise me if they said that, though, huh? Wouldn't surprise anybody if, oh, well, we deserved it. Bend over. Can I have another? Hit me, daddy. Yeah, you weirdos.
Need their services in this capacity. I hope so. And they went on to congratulate all of the people involved. And he said,
"Do you guys think Alex Jones is losing his mind right now? Where's Alex at? I gotta see this, dude. I gotta see this. Hold on a second.
Go away. One tiny particle of it in your lungs, depending on the isotope, you have cancer in a couple months.
Hold on a second. I gotta see it.
So that's where we are. And then you've got the Iranians say they'll seal the Strait of Hormuz. Very easy for them to do. That's on their border, tiny little strait, shallow water. They'll sink a bunch of ships out there.
The frogs are going. They're going gay, Joe. Joe, the frogs are going gay.
Flow every day. That happen. That'll massively increase inflation and then interest rates. And then if you do the math, that we've had economists on and even mainline economists in the news say, yeah, that will destroy Trump's recovery plan that's working but is threading the eye of a needle. And then what if Pakistan comes in? They've got nukes. Russia's now...
I'm just going to say, you want to know how stupid people are? This person says, show me one sleeper cell in the U.S. You can't. This is how stupid these people are. Just because somebody can't show you something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, you nut job. What a dumbass.
Hypersonic nuclear-capable missiles on their border for a sneak attack, and then NATO talks about maybe we'll do a nuclear sneak attack last year on Russia to escalate, to be incendiary, to be escalatory. And so who's the good guys, who's the bad guys here? Well, I don't like the mullahs, and they're an unpopular dictatorship. Okay, that said, they're not expansionist. They're contained. Israel's wiped out their proxy forces in Lebanon and Gaza and other areas. West Bank. The Houthis have surrendered, at least not to attack our ships anymore, to the U.S., or made a deal. And Israel wants to drag us in. Remember, 9 days ago, oh, we're just taking out the nuclear sites. Oh, no, now we want regime change. We won't negotiate.
Oh, it's his old stream from yesterday? Okay, thank you. All right.
President Trump has been talking about from day one. I can tell you every one of our allies in that region is extremely thankful, and those that aren't our allies in that region are extremely thankful. All of our enemies around the world are extremely fearful right now. I think you pointed out earlier, North Korea is, let me tell you, the back of the hair just stood up on their neck. You have China that's paying attention. You have Putin that's paying attention. They understand that we can deliver when we need to, and we can destroy things and targets that threaten the United States. Now, keep in mind that this regime...
We're going to pause that. I want to go to this. They get pretty good intelligence here at Charlie's.
Some people are totally supportive. Some people saying that 100% behind this, that this was great. other people. And by the way, these are some folks who are diehard MAGA. I'm talking about diehard MAGA faithfuls. I'm not talking about like the Never Trumpers or some of these other buckets here. I'm talking about just people that that I know have always supported Trump. Full support, making fun of Obama. Some of the memes are flying, Obama crying, and it says, "When Trump destroys the facilities you helped pay for." Okay, that one's actually pretty funny. But then you're also seeing a lot of people saying that, this is difficult, this is dangerous. It's going to be very, the response is going to Iran's response is really going to dictate what comes next. Yep. A lot of folks saying, "Hey, can we focus now back on deporting illegal aliens?" And saying, "Look, this foreign policy contest was obviously the biggest foreign policy test of President Trump going forward, and so now can we get back to domestic policy?" Other people say, a lot of people actually asking about what the actual sit rep is, the tactical report, strategic report, what happened at the bases. You're seeing a lot of interest in that. We haven't seen, a lot of released footage from from this as well. But a lot of Gen Z, I got to say, Charlie, it echoes what you're saying in that YouTube chat. Gen Z very much saying, why are we putting another country ahead when we have problems here? Because, Gen Z, I don't think they ran through, they lived through the Iran hostage crisis. They didn't live through the war on terror. They didn't live through so many of these things that a lot of other people have been through. They've only lived through, they lived through a world that's in the shadow of 9/11. They probably don't even have any direct memories of 9/11 itself. And so, you're seeing a lot of that backlash among Gen Z.
Andrew, can you read some of Sean Davis's tweets here? Very sharp commentary, please.
Yeah, Sean is somebody that we had on our show, and I hopefully
Andrew, we got to fix your internet, man. It's not good enough. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
all right, fair enough.
No, it's
I've got it open
too choppy. Yeah, Blake.
So we have Sean, and I'll acknowledge Andrew said these were his thoughts as well. So I want to get here. America is now in a very difficult and dangerous spot. Our next steps depend entirely on the response of a regime we were told is suicidal, insane, and an imminent threat to us and everyone else. That means we now have to pray those claims about them being suicidal and aggressive, which were used to justify our attacks, were wrong, and that no retaliation occurs. A thing I don't hear a lot, this is now me talking, like modern Iran, the reason Iran is Shia, it was founded by kind of I don't know how else to describe it, like an apocalyptic Islamic movement. There was the founder of modern Iran claimed he was the Mahdi, who's kind of a messianic figure in Islam, that he is basically the 12th Imam returned who will kind of bring about the end of the world. And multiple Muslims since have claimed to be that figure, but like the founder of modern Iran claimed he was that, and then he lost a big battle, and he really believed it, and I think he died.
You guys don't even bother engaging with the person talking about sleeper cells, because the argument's going to be this: the second that you actually identify a name, they're no longer classified as a sleeper cell, right? So that's the follow-up. Well, then they're not a sleeper cell then if you know about them. A sleeper cell is the whole idea that you don't know who they are. That's why they're a sleeper cell. That's why it was stupid of the person to say, "Oh, well, you can't show me a sleeper cell." Well, no shit. That's why they're a sleeper cell. Jesus, man. It's people roam around. I'm telling you, there's no greater reason to think we're in a simulation than that. There's NPCs walking around, man, just aimlessly like zombies.
Bomb you. Please do not make me bomb you. And now he decided he had to bomb them.
100%. And by the way, that's the other part here, everybody. I hope everyone in the audience is internalizing this. The people that say, "Oh, I'm against the bombing," which, by the way, totally respectable position. And if you have concerns, I get it. I share some of them. But if you're just inherently against this, let me just kind of press pause. Trump exhausted a diplomatic channel on multiple occasions, and Iran was not interested in it. Why was Iran not interested? Because they really thought, for whatever reason, President Trump was not going to do this. Now, I also have to simultaneously caution everybody in the audience that is cheerleading the bombing of this facility, which is, by no measure, is this a death blow to the nuclear program. A nuclear program is a mindset. It's going to set them back significantly, maybe years. I mean, the facilities are not child's play. The Persian people are very smart, though. What'd you say, Andrew?
It's a huge point, Charlie. I think that what you're saying is spot on, because this is the problem that we've been talking about. Can you actually stop the nuclear program without a regime change? And if you can't, then we're just getting deeper into regime change, and that's been the argument the whole time. I mean, you've got guys like
thank you, Sea-Dog, for the $3, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate that. Stacy, thank you for the 5 as well. Always here supporting. Appreciate you, Stacy. You are awesome. Brad, you're awesome, Stacy. I appreciate that. You're always here supporting the show. Thank you so much. Also, again, shout out to all the members that were the base tier. Again, I sent out a membership announcement that starting July 1st, the base membership tier that's currently 99 cents is going up to $1.99. And the reason for that is because we're no longer running ads on YouTube, you guys. And so it's like a trade-off because they're screwing us anyways. And if you don't want to do that small baseline anymore, I get that. Please don't feel like I'm gonna be upset with you. That increase of $1, some of you are like, hey, it's just not worth it. Hey, that's on you. I won't be upset if you're like, I don't want to donate anymore. I totally get it. But we're not running ads anymore on YouTube, so that's why we're increasing it from 99 cents to $1.99. And if you feel like, hey, well, screw YouTube if you're going to take all our money, I also have that donation tab at baldbrad.com. That's an extra option for you, and you could do your monthly giving that way. Look, folks, it tells me who you are when you monthly donate. So all you need to do is, you don't need anything. I already know who's in the chat that are monthly donators. So if you want to go my route by going to baldbrad.com and using the donation tab, why don't I throw that up here in the chat for all of you? We get 99% of that money. And you can do weekly donation, monthly donation, and I'll put it kind of everywhere for those on TikTok, for those on Rumble. If you want to get out of being a member, that would be the place to go to and support me there that way. And there's people that do $2. It's not uncommon for people to do $2, $5, $10 a month through the website. Some people do a little bit more than that, which is pretty remarkable. Very generous.
Educate you guys.
So thank you to everybody that donates. I really appreciate that. God bless you guys. I love you. You really help out a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ability. Those are not the same thing. So one would be like, let's just use a football analogy. If you bomb a practice field, you have just bombed a football field's football capability, but they still have a football program.
Yeah.
They can adjust.
A football team is the players, it's the
mindset,
coaches,
it's the philosophy,
the general knowledge.
You know what a great example of this is? When the Marshall football team died in the plane crash.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the Marshall football team died in the plane crash back in like the 70s or 80s? The program actually was still alive. They decided to, we're going to bring more people.
So they're talking a lot about this mindset. True, the mindset's there, but you know what? Knowing that they're not capable of developing a nuclear warhead is going to make me sleep better at night. It is. Knowing that the leading sponsor of terrorism can't get their hands on a dirty bomb and cross borders with it and then unleash it in Los Angeles or New York City. You know what? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I am. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't want this to happen. It didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. I gave them 60 days. I gave them a decade. They could have came to the table and said, no more, not going to do it. But they didn't. So they effed around, and what happened, folks? They found out, unfortunately. Now, again, I want to say this again. Didn't want it to happen. I didn't even want Trump to do this. I didn't. But I can't change what happened. So that was the F around and find out. They found out today, an hour ago.
People pay for them, so we should acknowledge them. Let's get some ones on Rumble. Shoanek gave $10 on Rumble. He said, this is completely different. Trump hit them so hard.
They're getting donations.
To reconsider. This isn't like Obama with all of the in all of the regulations. I assume he meant sanctions there. Thank you, Shoanek. We have Casper Milktoast.
Jerry, just so you know, I see in the chat, I did get your email, brother. And I haven't looked at the link yet because I want to hold off when I make the video. We're going to do it on that one. So I just want you to know, Jerry, I got your email, brother. Appreciate you. Pat says you need to put that in the info below in the description so people can copy and paste it. That is a very good point. Why did I think of that? I don't know. Okay. I will have to do that. Yes. A donation tab in the description. So maybe I'll work on that while you guys are, yeah, here we go.
Ionokai, who gave $100 early, gave another $10. He said he's not pissed.
Okay, truthfully, I didn't put it in there because it feels like panhandling. I'm going to slowly just start pushing donations more because we're getting bigger on the show. We are getting bigger. And with when you become bigger comes more risk. And you guys can read between the lines. More risk requires more help to sustain if something, God forbid, was to happen. So you get what I'm saying. Read between the lines. But we were so small before that I just hated asking for money. It just doesn't look good. I really want people to do it out of their heart, that they like, hey, you didn't ask for it. We just did it because we felt like we get something out of it. That's mostly why I was there. So I still feel that way. Like, don't feel like you have to. Do you know what I mean? But it's appreciated, obviously. You guys work hard for your money.
Bible, not an actual Bible, from a... Man, I'm not even... Is he talking about Ted Cruz here?
What is this?
Someone is very angry, basically says it's not Christian to support this war.
I'm going to go do a whole podcast on the Schofield Bible. This is like Reddit gone wrong. It's a total cope, okay? You don't know what you think you know about the Schofield Bible. Okay, anyway, it's not a separate Bible. It's not. They're like, oh, it is what's called it's like a study guide. Does that make sense? So it's like it interprets passages. People think like it changed the Bible.
Oh, man.
No, it is the Bible. Okay, anyway.
Hash Function 25 gave $5, and he says, we will force Iran to understand the gay disco. Oh, boy, and then they might want to surrender to avoid that one. Tristan gave $5 and said, Christians who don't support Israel do not believe in God. John Galt gave us what I believe is 20 Australian dollars, which I think you can take and trade in at the bank for real dollars. And he said Israel was too excited to wait.
All right, if you refresh your page, you should see a donation tab to my website. I did it, okay? Can't get off my ass about it. But let me see if it actually worked. It did work. It's there. Huzzah. Appreciate you. Eric coming out again. You're a blessing, sir. We actually miss you, Eric. When it rains, it pours. My ankle is feeling a little better, but our apartment building caught... What the heck? My apartment building caught fire, and now I'm homeless. Great. Are you serious? Well, don't give me $5. How the hell do I refund this thing? Is that possible? Eric, what the hell are you doing? How the hell? Is it even possible to refund somebody on this? Almost cussed. Eric, well, thanks, man. But, dude, what are you doing? I can't tell if he's serious. We got a lot of jokesters over on our channel. Eric's been a long-time supporter. But, dude, if you're homeless, what are you doing? Guy's homeless and give me $5, man. Bless your heart, dude. But if there's any way we can help out here on the show, let us know. Jeez.
This one, and I think
that's crazy,
everyone
man.
else has had kind of a similar reaction to that. Mark Jackson gave $100. Thank you very much, Mark. He says, Gen X 1972 Florida, born and bred. Trump is doing exactly what I voted for. Make Americans and the world safe. Thank you very much, Mark. Noe Reyes gave $10. He says, air superiority at its finest. USA, aim high, fly, fight, win. Tommy Bessinger, $20. Thank you very much. He just said, go Trump. And Julian Trajanson, $5.
All right, they're just going over that.
Means people, and that means specific locations. They are prepared for any retaliation, and the president was very clear, unambiguous in his statement again tonight to the Iranians what the consequences will be if they in fact try to retaliate.
Oh yeah. It's going to be
and I think that that's really important, because in the region, as you and I know, strength matters, and that's what talks over there. Peace through strength, but strength first. And I think that that's the signal the president was sending. If any U.S. citizen, any U.S. base, any U.S. facility comes under Iranian attack, all bets are off as far as this being a limited type of strike. And you're right, they have a lot of plans going forward if that's the case. One of the questions
I want to show you guys something. Okay? Trump mobilized this for a reason. And I want to see if people could see it on TikTok too. Here we go. Look at this. All right. This is the latest map of the United States Navy deployed in the Middle East as of August 25th. Okay, we just moved more, and I will show you more in a second. This is who we have here with the green dot, right? Amphibious Ready Group, right there in the Mediterranean. You also have this group up here. You have all these ships here. Now, that's not even the most up-to-date one. Let me see the latest. Let's see if we can get the latest. Here we go. This one right here. This is the one I wanted to show you. Look at that. Here's Israel. Here's the F around and the find out. This, you are surrounded by the world's. I know I mentioned this. I don't know how else to put it into words, you guys. Since been a thing of a species on this planet, there has never been a military force like the United States. The fact that this guy, meaning the supreme leader, has the balls to pull this. And I would like to also point out, this isn't everything. Yes, somebody said in the chat, they sent the USS Nimitz. That is correct. There's 2 aircraft carrier strike groups as well heading there. There's a reason why people are saying, well, maybe I'll give him 2 weeks. Trump gave him like 48 hours. Some people just don't listen. Do you know what I mean? We know those people in our personal lives. Some people just don't listen. And Trump said it. He's like, I told them they could have came to the table. We could have broke bread together. We could have been friends. Ali, we could have been friends. You were a good guy. I want to know, how do you wrap that turban? I want to know. We could have shared a Diet Coke together. I mean, it's true, though. I mean, all satire aside and jokes aside, you could have came to the table. It didn't need to come to this. You could have said, hey, you know what? What can we do to negotiate? We would love to be a part of the globe. We would love to be back to who we were again. The Persian people are great. The Iranian people are great. They're smart people. I don't wish any ill will upon them. But for you to think that you're going to come out of this, as long as nobody else joins the fight, because then it just makes things a little bit harder. You know, it's kind of like when you're like going up against a guy in the street and you know that there's no chance where that guy's going to survive. You're about to duke it out with him, but then there's like 8 of his buddies behind him that it's just you versus 8 now. You could do it. It's just going to take you a little bit longer. Right now, I don't think Iran is in a right headspace. I really don't. I really, really don't. And it's not the people. I just think their leader's just not in the right headspace. And some might say, look, Brad, yours isn't either. Okay. But then you just have 2 people without their heads on straight. And the difference is my guy's going to win. That's it. My guy wins. Your guy loses, and not just loses fast. Hello, McFly. This is surrounding your entire country. This is this isn't even everybody, by the way. This is just our Navy. It doesn't include our military bases. Hello. God, dude. Crazy. Where was it? Where was that other thing at? There we go. Let's see if they're done reading chats.
Of the Middle East here. And by the way, I want to keep on hearing from you guys. freedom@charliekirk.com if you are just tuning in. Okay, so can we get one of the entire Middle East, not just of Iran, but we'll start there. So that's a very big country, Blake.
Very big.
Right. So we bombed several different sites there. Walk us through kind of where in Iran these sites were, and what does each one of the sites represent as the significance?
Exactly. The places we hit are basically about in the middle of Iran. If you looked at it where it says like Zagros Mountains and Alborz Mountains, kind of the northernmost one is about where those 2 like words are meeting. That's the main one we hit, Fordo. Then there's another one, Nahans, I think is what it was. That's just maybe like 100 miles to the southeast, and then Isfahan a little more to the southeast. And that's the core of about where the people of Iran are. Iran is about 92 million people. Most of them live in the western half of the country. It's very mountainous. It's very rugged, but you have these fertile valleys.
Hey, anybody else, when everybody says like west or east, does anybody still go like never eat shredded wheat? Does anybody still do that in their head? Never eat soggy waffles? Anybody ever do that? Figure out where's east and west? I'll be honest, I do. Hey, I got no shame. I'm an idiot. Never eat shredded wheat. Never eat soggy waffles. That's how we were taught in school. I still do it. Yeah, see? Tara's like, yes. Now everybody's coming out of the woodworks on TikTok, huh? Now you see, this guy's kind of fun. He's a good guy. He's not half bad. He's a smart ass, but he's not half bad. Thank you, Lizette. Thank you. Never eat shredded wheat. Exactly. Now people are coming out because it's relatable, huh? Yes, yeah, I'm a human being. Danielle Slater with the $4.99. Thank you. Always coming out, girl. I appreciate you. God bless you. God bless everybody that's coming in here in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thank you, guys. Keeping the lights on here for us. Thank you. God bless you.
Don't know how this is going to go yet. We don't know how Iran is going to reply. And if they do reply, we don't know how President Trump will react to it. So we are putting our trust in him.
What do you mean? The guy said, I'm going to wipe you off the face of the earth. Now, I don't think he's going to attack civilians. That I would be pissed if Donald Trump went after civilians. He's the type of guy, and you could tell, I don't think he was really stoked about him doing what he did. You know what I mean? Based on at the end there, he's like, God, I don't think he's stoked about it because he doesn't want to get engaged in this. You got to make very terrible decisions as the commander in chief. If we were attacked, he has to take that and realize that he put not just our servicemen and women in jeopardy, but also us here domestically. So it's not an easy decision. And I know it's weighing heavy on his heart. It has to.
We should genuinely be worried if this escalates into a bigger thing. But so far it does not. So far it does not. And we have some level of control over whether it does. Not 100%. That's why we have some worries. But it has not exploded into anything big yet. So people, they said they didn't vote for regime change. They didn't vote for endless wars. They didn't vote for U.S. boots on the ground. So far, we don't have those things. We don't have a regime change war. We don't have boots on the ground. We don't have an open-ended conflict with no clear objective. President Trump's objective was blow their nuclear program to smithereens. So we bombed their nuclear program. And that is the extent of what we have done so far.
That's it. And so I have to say, I want to try to introduce some caution into all of this. Let me kind of read some frontline reports from the Middle East. This is from some Israeli intelligence officers. Secondhand information, not first. Quote, reports out of Iran are that officers are refusing to fire missiles because Israel has been striking launch sites immediately after they fire. That is true. No, this is rational. This is actually rational.
Interesting.
No missile attacks in Israel today for the first time since Israel first attacked Iran last week. Iran's ability to fire any missiles is severely degraded. U.S. assets in the Middle East are likely not going to be attacked. Now, that's a very bullish interpretation, but that is actually a very rational and interesting thing. So let me kind of explain to you how this works. So there's a ton of Iranian ballistic missile launchers in the interior of Iran, a ton of them, right? And so we don't know where they all are. And by the way, guys, let me just pause. Can you guys work on getting us on Bannon with Rav? Steve wants to have us on. Can you call Rav and get that done, guys? So there's a ton of these launchers.
Hey, can you guys get us on Fox News with Sean Hannity? Can you go ahead and take care of that over there? The producers are on it. The whole team behind the monitors. You guys got that? I want to get on the news with Sean Hannity ASAP. Come on. Let's go.
Put that map back up. I mean, could you imagine trying to just find a launcher in town?
All right, I can't be screwing around like that. We don't have anybody, by the way. There's a lot of new people that watch this show. It's just me. There's just a wall behind my monitors. Don't worry about it. I'm inside a closet right now, if you didn't know. I'm literally in a walk-in closet. And by walk-in, I mean I could touch the walls with my hands. Please don't feel like we're that big. No. I'm the only guy running all the bells and whistles here. We got people that donate their time to moderate, and God bless them. They really help out a lot. But yeah, we don't... Can't do it.
American bases or try to take out American troops, they have to out themselves as a launcher. Yes.
We have a new truth from President Trump 4 minutes ago.
Here we go.
All caps, as is his way. Any retaliation by Iran against the United States of America will be met with force far greater than what was witnessed tonight. Thank you, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States.
Yes. And so, by the way, that's a very predictable truth from Trump. And that's, by the way, that's exactly what he should be saying. And
yes, Little Onion, I did get a bag of chips. I actually got 2 of them from Walmart. One of them was they're both Lay's. Okay, they're both Lay's chips. One of them was a Thai, something Thai, and then the other one was masala. They were good. They were okay. I like them. Thank you. But I did get my bag of chips. Absolutely. 2 dos. I'm learning my Spanish. Might as well, right? There's so many here. Dos. Orale.
It's good, right?
They'll get annoyed about that one.
That's right. So do we have shock and awe, by the way, from 2003? Do we have that?
While we wait for that, we got a $20 donation.
Let's go through that.
The Gabello family supporting Trump from Papua New Guinea. I don't know that I've ever gotten a donation from Papua New Guinea before.
That is a. Is it true they're cannibals? There are cannibals.
There's like everything in Papua New Guinea. There's like more languages in Papua New Guinea.
Alrighty. Well, I think we will end it there. There's nothing really going on. Like they said, the skies are pretty clear right now in Israel. Donald Trump made his announcement. Look, he said, if you mess around, you're gonna be hit hard. And I believe the guy. He ain't messing around. The guy just went there and bombed him. So, you got to listen to what he said. He said what he's going to do, and he did it. So, But we got a morning show every weekday morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. By the way, if you want to come join us, we're on all platforms: Kick, Rumble, YouTube, X, TikTok. We're everywhere. We get a lot of views. We have over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube alone. But we're growing on all platforms. I have a feeling TikTok's going to be the next 100,000, folks. We've gained this month. So basically we started going hard on TikTok basically the first or the third of this month. And just to give you an idea, we only had 7,000 followers at the beginning of this month. We're at 28,000. We've gained 21,000 followers in this month alone. This could be the year that we hit 100,000 on TikTok if it stays up, which is crazy. We're getting out. TikTok and YouTube have outpaced Rumble and X. It's crazy. It's really crazy. But I appreciate you all for making all this happen. Thank you for the moderators. Thank you for all the members. And again, the membership starting July 1st is going up $1. And I don't see that ever changing. I don't see that base tier really changing for a long time. By the way, we haven't changed our tiers in almost 5 years. So again, we're not running ads on our lives. We will run ads on our videos when we upload those again. But that's the reason for the change. So I gotta pay for a lot of stuff, and I understand it's my hobby, but the software and stuff, you guys, if you knew how much money everything kind of costs to run, it is pretty pricey. We got Adobe we have to pay for. You have the streaming service you have to pay for. You have the multi-streaming platforms you have to pay for. All those, you're not talking like the site itself. You're not talking $30 here or there. You're talking a lot of money. So thank you to everybody that always chips in. It does help me out. Appreciate you. You allow me to do my hobby and hang out with you fine people. So we'll be back here maybe tomorrow, but definitely starting Monday morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be back here with a lot of breaking news. If there's more breaking news, you bet your booty, you bet your tushy will be here live. With that being said, pray for this country, pray for Donald Trump, pray for America, and pray for the world, folks, that we can have peace here on earth. With that being said, God bless you. I'll see you next time here on The Bull Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.